Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, didn't explicitly use the phrase "kill your negative thoughts" in his writings, but his work provides deep insights into managing and transforming negative thoughts, which aligns with this idea. Jung's theories focus on the psyche, its structure, and the process of individuation, integrating various aspects of the self to achieve psychological wholeness. Negative thoughts, in Jungian terms, can be seen as manifestations of unconscious conflicts, complexes, or the shadow, and addressing them involves understanding, confronting, and integrating these elements rather than suppressing or killing them outright. Below, I'll explain Jung's perspective in detail, drawing on his key concepts to interpret how he might approach the idea of dealing with negative thoughts. Understanding negative thoughts in Jungian psychology. Negative thoughts such as self-doubt, fear, anger, or destructive patterns often stem from the unconscious mind. Jung believed the psyche is composed of several components: the conscious ego, the part of the mind we're aware of, which often encounters negative thoughts as intrusive or disruptive; the personal unconscious. This contains repressed memories, emotions, and complexes, emotionally charged clusters of thoughts and feelings. Negative thoughts may arise from unresolved complexes, such as feelings of inferiority or trauma. The collective unconscious, a deeper layer containing universal archetypes shared across humanity. Negative thoughts might be influenced by archetypal energies, like the shadow, the darker, repressed aspects of the self. The shadow. This is particularly relevant to negative thoughts. The shadow contains qualities we reject or deny about ourselves: anger, jealousy, shame, or weakness. Negative thoughts often reflect shadow material trying to surface into consciousness. In Jung's view, negative thoughts aren't inherently bad; they are signals from the unconscious, pointing to areas of the psyche that need attention. Killing them would mean suppressing these signals, which Jung would caution against, as suppression can lead to psychological imbalance or neurosis. Instead, he advocated for engaging with these thoughts to understand their origins and purpose. Confronting negative thoughts, the shadow and integration. Jung's concept of the shadow is central to dealing with negative thoughts. The shadow holds traits we deem unacceptable, often projecting them onto others. For example, judging someone as selfish while ignoring our own selfishness. Negative thoughts often arise when the shadow is ignored or repressed. Jung's approach to killing negative thoughts would involve acknowledging the shadow. Recognize negative thoughts as part of your psyche. For example, if you are plagued by thoughts of failure, ask, "What part of me feels inadequate, and why?" Dialogue with the unconscious. Jung developed a technique called active imagination, where you engage with unconscious material, like negative thoughts, through creative means: writing, visualization, or dialoguing with the thought as if it were a person. This helps uncover the root of the thought. For instance, a recurring thought like "I'm not good enough" might reveal a childhood wound or an inferiority complex. Integration, not destruction. Instead of eliminating negative thoughts, Jung emphasized integrating them into the conscious self. This means accepting that these thoughts are part of you but don't define you. By bringing shadow elements into awareness, their destructive power diminishes, and they can be transformed into constructive energy. For example, if you have persistent thoughts of anger, Jung might suggest exploring what the anger is protecting or expressing. Is it reaction to feeling powerless? By understanding and accepting this, you reduce the thought's grip on your psyche. The role of complexes. Jung's concept of complexes is also key. A complex is an unconscious cluster of feelings and memories around a specific theme, like the mother complex or inferiority complex. Negative thoughts often stem from activated complexes. For instance, a person with an inferiority complex might have recurring thoughts like "I'll never succeed." These thoughts are the complex's voice, triggered by external events. For example, a work failure. Jung's solution isn't to kill the thought but to explore the complex. Where did it come from? Perhaps it's tied to early experiences of rejection. By consciously working through these origins, often with a therapist, the complex loses its power, and the negative thoughts weaken. Individuation and transforming negative thoughts. Jung's ultimate goal for psychological health was individuation, the process of becoming a whole, integrated self by reconciling opposites within the psyche, for example, conscious versus unconscious, light versus dark. Negative thoughts play a role in this process. Symptoms as messengers. Jung saw psychological symptoms, including negative thoughts, as the psyche's attempt to self-correct. For example, persistent self-critical thoughts might be the psyche urging you to confront low self-esteem or an unbalanced ego. Balancing opposites. Negative thoughts often reflect an imbalance. For instance, an overly rational person might be haunted by rational fears from the unconscious. Jung would encourage embracing both rationality and emotion to restore balance. Transcending the ego. Negative thoughts are often ego-driven, tied to fears of failure or judgment. Jung's individuation process involves connecting with the self, the archetype of wholeness, which transcends the ego's limited perspective. Practices like dream analysis, meditation, or exploring myths can help align with the self, reducing the ego's susceptibility to negative thoughts. Practical steps to address negative thoughts. Jungian approach. While Jung's work is theoretical, it offers practical tools for managing negative thoughts. Journaling. Write down negative thoughts and explore their origins. Ask, when did I first feel this way? Or what does this thought want from me? Dream analysis. Jung believed dreams reveal unconscious material. Recurring negative thoughts may appear symbolically in dreams, for example, a monster representing fear. Analyzing dreams can uncover their meaning. Active imagination. Visualize the negative thought as a character and have a mental conversation with it. What does it say? What does it need? This can reveal its purpose and reduce its intensity. Creative expression. Jung valued art, writing, or music as ways to process unconscious material. Expressing negative thoughts creatively can transform them into something meaningful. Therapy. Jungian analysis, a form of psychotherapy, helps individuals work with a trained analyst to explore the unconscious and integrate shadow elements. Mindfulness and reflection. Practice self-awareness to catch negative thoughts as they arise. Instead of fighting them, observe them neutrally and ask what they're teaching you. Why killing negative thoughts isn't the goal. Jung would likely argue that killing negative thoughts is a misstep. Suppressing them risks pushing them deeper into the unconscious, where they can manifest as physical symptoms, anxiety, or destructive behavior. Instead, Jung's approach is alchemical, transforming the base metal of negative thoughts into the gold of self-awareness and growth. For example, a thought like "I'm worthless" might reflect a rejected part of the self. By exploring and accepting this part, you might discover hidden strengths, like resilience or empathy. Jung's concept of the Konjunktion, union of opposites, suggests that light and dark, positive and negative, must coexist. Embracing this paradox reduces the power of negative thoughts. Cultural and modern context. Jung's ideas resonate with modern mindfulness and cognitive therapies, which emphasize observing thoughts without judgment. However, his approach is unique in its depth, focusing on the symbolic and archetypal roots of thoughts rather than just reframing them. In today's world, where negative thoughts are often amplified by social media or societal pressures, Jung's emphasis on inner exploration offers a timeless framework for psychological resilience. Example application. Imagine someone struggling with the thought "I'm a failure." A Jungian approach might involve journaling. Write about when this thought appears, for example, after a work setback. Trace it to a childhood memory of criticism. Active imagination. Visualize failure as a figure, a stern teacher, perhaps. Ask it, "Why are you here?" It might reveal a need for self-compassion. Dream analysis. Notice if dreams feature symbols of defeat, for example, falling. These might point to an inferiority complex. Integration. Accept that feelings of failure are part of being human. Channel this energy into creative work or self-improvement. Conclusion. Carl Jung's approach to negative thoughts is not about killing them but about understanding and transforming them through self-awareness, shadow work, and individuation. By treating negative thoughts as messages from the unconscious, we can uncover their roots in complexes or the shadow, integrate them into our conscious self, and move toward psychological wholeness. This process requires courage, reflection, and often creative or therapeutic work, but it aligns with Jung's belief that the psyche's challenges are opportunities for growth.